The Fed had its meeting last week and it left its benchmark interest rate unchanged as expected during that recent meeting. But it also left some people disappointed by suggesting that there will not be any easing in March. So let's unpack that today and talk about why I think there's a bank crisis brewing. Crazy stuff. Markets are still pricing in the multiple rate cuts beginning later this year. For now, gold and silver have held major support levels, but they have yet to garner sustained upside momentum. Safe haven demand for bullion remains very soft, and you guys know that Greg and I are big gold bugs and we accumulate all the time. I need you to understand that right now I'm still an advocate of gold and I'm actually aggressively buying more because I feel it's not an if, it's when something breaks in the financial system. And I'm going to walk you through that in today's video. Signs of trouble for the banking sector are growing. And please remember where you heard it first, right here, not on the news, right here. Because I'm going on record saying that today and I will remind you in the future, so please subscribe and I won't have to do that. A banking crisis is on the horizon, you guys. The Fed Reserve's most recent policy statement came with a curious omission. Fed officials removed language from previous statements that proclaimed, and I quote, the U.S. banking system is sound and resilient. Yes, that is gone, totally vanished from the report. Now, to me, that begs the question, is the banking system no longer sound and resilient? Fed initially inserted language in March of 2023, following the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, SVB as you guys know, whose balance sheet obviously was not sound nor resilient. Fed officials and banking regulators went out of their way to assure us that SVB's troubles were particular to its portfolio of assets. It was an isolated incident, basically is what they tried to say. But higher interest rates, failing bond values, and shaky commercial real estate markets are negatively affecting other large banks as well. Just last week, shares of New York Community Bank Corp suffered a dramatic sell-off after it reported a whopping $252 million in losses for the fourth quarter of 2023. That is massive. Broader troubles for regional banks loom in this supposedly strong economy. In the event of or ahead of a recession, wave of bank failures could trigger another financial crisis, and that's according to some industry analysts. This is not me. This is the industry analysts out there that I follow. And none other than my favorite guy out there, JP Chase's CEO, Jamie Dimon. He warns that a debt crisis is gathering. In recent remarks, Dimon said unsustainable growth in U.S. government debt is heading toward, and I quote, a cliff that will trigger, and I quote again, a rebellion among global holders of treasuries. Meanwhile, JP Chase Bank, Bank of America, PNC, and other large banks announced closures of hundreds of physical branches across the U.S. Yes, if you didn't read this, you heard it here first, you guys. We always cover the stuff that no one likes to cover. All across the USA, banks are closing everywhere. This is meant to reduce overhead and costs and push customers into online banking. There's a wave of this happening right now. Some customers of Chase Bank have recently reported thousands of dollars in deposits missing from their accounts and having difficulty obtaining a resolution. Very scary story, you can look it up. Other customers have had their accounts abruptly closed without any warning or explanation. There are things going on behind the scenes. Last summer, the attorney generals in 19 different states accused JP Morgan of discriminating against banking customers by closing their accounts for having the wrong political beliefs or engaging in too many cash transactions, for example. Guys, that's not right. That is not cool. In the current environment, holding some of one's liquid wealth outside the banking system is an essential asset protection strategy. You've heard us talk about this many, many times. Physical precious metals represent hard money that no one else's liability can be digitally lost or canceled. You can store this. I do in my gold IRA. I'll talk about that more later. But yes, keep it out of the banking system, at least a portion of your wealth. Some bullion holders make the mistake of storing their coins, rounds, or bars in a bank safe deposit box. So I'm going to get into why that's a bad idea. Best way to hold them, in my experience, is inside your IRA. You can do that below by clicking a link and taking a quiz and follow it there, or not. You can go down with the banking system. It's totally your call. While the contents of safe deposit boxes are generally not known to bank employees or reported to the government, there are still risks that remain with doing that. This includes branch closures, bank failures, theft, and in some circumstances, raids by law enforcement agents. Yes, law enforcement agents. Your personal information is held at the bank and is ultimately tied to any safe deposit box that you own. So is it really safe there? I don't know. In a few cities, non-bank safe deposit box facilities exist that claim to offer greater security and privacy. However, these very claims of privacy invited suspicions from the feds in at least one instance that such facilities that have used to hide ill-gotten assets. Yes, shady stuff going on. In fact, in March 2021, the FBI raided hundreds of anonymous safe deposit boxes offered by a private company called U.S. Private Vault in Beverly Hills. Yes, Beverly Hills. The agency attempted to seize everything inside customers' boxes worth more than $5,000 without even bothering to charge them individually with a crime. This is criminal. Watch out for your money, guys. Last month, The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the FBI acted unlawfully in rummaging through boxes looking for valuables and even refusing to return the property to the lawful owners. Now, this doesn't mean that the FBI or other government agencies won't be able to find legal workarounds to conduct future, more narrowly targeted raids of private safe deposit box facilities. However, if you hold it inside of a legit IRA like I do, that is in your retirement, which is untouchable. Asset protection, you guys. To be sure, what likely attracted the FBI's attention to U.S. private vaults was its unusual business model of eschewing all information under any box holder. In other words, not even U.S. private vaults knew the identity of their own safe deposit box holders, much less the actual contents. That is some shady stuff. Keep it in your IRA, keep it safe. The most secure way to store bullion is through a dedicated bullion vault facility. The gold that's inside my IRA is stored at the Texas Depository. For full transparency, you guys know we're transparent people here. The advantage here is that it operates outside the U.S. banking system and is a facility dedicated to storing precious metals. Boom! I get the amazing inflation hedge, gold, which is safeguarding about 17% of my retirement money. And if the economy does collapse, which I feel we're going to do, that's going to rock it up and literally save my retirement. It happened to everybody in 2008 that invested in gold. They made about 2,000% as everything else petered down. I lost 70% of my stock portfolio. Wild. Of course, physical precious metals themselves represent the ultimate insurance policy against meltdowns in the financial system and devaluations of government-issued fiat currency. Greg and I talk about that all the time on Tag Economy. And if you guys are longtime followers, which I know many of you are, thanks again for subscribing, you know where we are coming from. We're just giving you the straight facts that we get in media outlets that are not sugarcoating anything. That's today's update, and as always, I will keep you posted. Our free newsletter link, as well as the link to take the gold investing quiz, is below. If you have any interest in following our strategies and commentary, that's exactly what we do. I'll see you guys soon.